Hello there. This is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Ultimately, it's about your sex appeal. Now, you know what? When people are talking about what it takes to get women, right? What it takes to get women, people talk about all the components and elevate the component like it's the only thing. Like you got the people who say it's just looks, and when I say looks, is your face. Yet, and I've talked to several women about it. And I made this observation, talked to a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys who got a good looking face, but they non-select. And this is from the women saying that they do. Right? So it's still more to it. Some guys think, oh, it's just a handsome face, but yet you got plenty of nice guys out there with it. And then, of course, I talk body game, right? Let me put it, hey. But I've said several times, body game is just a foundation. It's a powerful foundation, but it's just a foundation, right? Just a foundation. It's a good bait. Shoot, looks are a great bait, but you still need more. Then you talk about, masculinity, but see, sometimes a woman to see a man's true masculinity, she got to be in an environment where she can interact with him. She can't necessarily see it in the first few seconds of seeing him. Unless it's just that real strong walk or anything, just a mannerism. But, in this culture, we don't have that. But even then, you still need more. And of course, you talk about people, well, it's just money. But then you got a lot of guys who got all the money in the world and they're single and they have trouble getting women. They got the house call, all of that. They still have trouble. And then, of course, status. Yeah, you got a lot of guys. Yeah, they got that status, but they're complaining. How many, politicians or entertainers, whatever, they get married. They might get married, but then the woman cheating on them with somebody who don't have nowhere near that status, right? But see, all of those still play a part. All of those play a part. See, what is supposed to happen is that all of it contributes to a man's sex appeal. Now, understand something. I've talked about this several times before, even shared links to articles and everything. There's a big difference. A person could, say with the looks thing, a person can look good. A man can look good to women. He can have that look. They can say, oh, yeah, he got nice bone structure, smile and all of that. But then they don't feel any juices. But yet they'll get somebody who maybe not look as good or maybe even be called by people as ugly. But they turned on like crazy. They turned on like crazy. And see, the thing with sex appeal, right? The thing with sex appeal, turning them on, that's more intangibles. And that's a combination of things. In my book, Nice Guys and Players, I said that's what the real man really is. They may not be the most handsome man, but they got something. And they might not have the most killer body, but they got something. Not the richest guy or even have status, but they got something. It's the combination of things. Because it all comes down to a woman looking at that man and saying, he could get it. He could get it. Because, see, here's the thing with that. Every single woman got something different. See, even a guy who got a sex appeal to a bunch of women. Say, I use an example of like being in a group of 100 women. He can maybe go into a room, 90 of them feeling him. But then 10 are not. They just not turned on by him. It's not an objective thing. But it's a click as far as, their physicality. That definitely plays a part. And just to be clear, women they don't all have a universal thing that works all the time. They don't. At best, there might be some body types or looks types that work a lot of the times, but somebody's always not going to like it. But every single woman has a different choice of what she like. Okay, so you got a guy who walks in the room, 90 of them, think he's sexy, 10 don't. But then the other guy might walk in the room, he might only get 5 women, but shit, that's all he need, right? They turned on by him. And that's the key. And see, it's a more of an intangible thing. See, understand something. When women see a man as sexual, that's because he's turning them on multiple levels. Because there's often a woman will meet a man and he physically looks good too. And, she might even say he got money and stuff, right? But then they start talking and personality wise, they don't click. Something women say a lot, he was all right till he opened his mouth. Or something about what he said or actions turn on for his emotions. See, the average woman, you need to deal with her on two levels: the physical level and the emotional level. So that's a combination of your mannerisms, your body build, how you talk, your voice tone, how you smell, the social environment you in, especially if you deal with women on a higher caliber, you know, class level. That's why I say all those things are important, you know. And then every single woman got a certain trigger. What do I mean by trigger? Like something they do will turn them on. Like a trigger is, it could be how he's standing one day, or he say just the right thing. He might even know what he's saying to the woman, but it's just the right thing. That's a trigger. Understand that. Understand that every single woman got one. And see, you get some guys who, they just have a combination of factors that will trigger a woman. If anybody looks at what I teach, I'm always telling you, it's a holistic thing. I'm telling you to develop on multiple levels. That's why anybody's read Nice Guys and Players, it's not a thing, because a lot of people talk about the select, non-select thing like it's a battle. If anybody actually read it, I'm telling the non-select guys how to become select and the select guys how to become even better. It's just a matter of development. It's just a matter of development. And quite frankly, there's a whole bunch of guys out there. They might not be solidly select, but they just need probably a couple. There's a whole bunch of men. It could be a slight superficial thing and it could change everything. One guy might need to put on weight. I actually knew a guy who was generally non-select. And he just changed some stuff up about his body type. He put on a little bit of weight. Dude cut now, and then just got more aggressive. It's a mental thing. See, that's the thing about sex appeal. It's not just a physical thing. It's a mental thing. And it's the attitude towards the woman and everything. That's what it come down to, because, of course, we talk about select, non-select. Everybody put all this other shit into it. It come down to 3 seconds. A woman looking at you and being turned on sexually. That's it. And if she's turned on sexually, she opens the door for a man, right? She opens the door for a man. And in fact, all he had to do is not mess it up. That's it. Like, real players know that. Just don't blow it, because all that does is, like I say, all she does is open the door. Very few men go ahead and women walk up to her, but it's on that sex appeal thing. It's on that sex appeal, and like I say, all that a lot of stuff is just extra. A woman needs to desire that man and get a feeling like he gonna satisfy her. That's it. And it's a lot, like I said, it's mannerisms, it's everything. It's the mixture of all things that you have. And a lot of guys just don't get it. I'm just going to be real. They don't get it. But yet, if somebody's legitimately been with a large amount of women, and quite frankly, that's over 20. That's over 20. Some people say, that's low and stuff. The average amount of sex the average man will only have sex with 7 women in his life. The average man. And many less than that. So anybody who's been with more than 10, more than 20, they can see it. They can see it. So ultimately, it's about sex appeal. Women need to look at that man and say, oh, he can get it. So, and it's a combination. It's not just the face. It's a combination of face, body, what social class you show, Shoot, how you cutting your hair, how you walking, tone of your voice, how you smell, all of those things. So that's all I got for today. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.